You actually want to learn how to speak better? Well, I predicted your answer 2 weeks ago when I discovered that public speaking anxiety ranks first among the top 5 phobias in the world, and perhaps you thought you could solve this by being educated. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that 24% of college graduates fear public speaking as well. So you see that not your wealth, not your education, not your beauty, and not even your fame could help you with speaking well. Your only chance of speaking well comes with you paying a fee. It's called attention. Yeah, by paying attention to this video, you'd be getting everything you need to face that speaking fear and attack that phobia like a foe. Be it the tips, the tricks, the hacks, the examples, or name it at all, we've got you covered. And your journey to becoming a public speaking pro begins right away. But come to think of it, why do you even need public speaking when most of our communication is nonverbal? An old study revealed that about 90% of our communication is nonverbal, and a more recent study revealed that 57% of our communication comes from nonverbal communication, and another 36% from voice, while just 7% comes from words. For those who may be confused about the difference between words and voice, voice involves your tone, while words are your lexicons. But that's not really the point. The point is that with these facts, what we need are classes on nonverbal communication classes, and not classes on speaking. However, there's more to speaking that earned it all its accolades, and it's that speaking is the primary form of communication. But as basic as it is, even the huge macho man shies away from confronting this fear. But on the bright side, you're in the right place, and when you're here, you get answers. So what's the foremost step in learning how to speak? First, you study great speakers. That doesn't help in any way, you might want to think. But it's like journeying to an unknown destination. Don't you think the map will make your journey 10 times easier? Yes. What a map does to an adventurer is what the study of great speakers does to you as you learn public speaking. So who are these great speakers you should look out for? Before we go ahead, I'd like to inform those who don't hold leadership positions that public speaking goes far beyond the shores of leadership or being the president of America. Yeah, most presidents are great speakers. But while you study these great speakers, even if your ambition is to become a dancer or basketballer, wouldn't it be better to be a basketballer who communicates effectively? So you need to learn from them. But let's talk about the 35th president of America, John F. Kennedy. And you know one of the things he showed unwavering belief in? It's the miraculous power that words carried. That by merely speaking, you can work miracles. Wow. And that's exactly what you'd notice from JFK's speeches. His speeches were crafted with the right words and phrases that stuck with the audiences and listeners. And he did perform some miracles, as he used addresses to motivate and influence people to win elections, make changes, and inspire the country throughout his career. And while it's your duty to study these speakers, let me help you with a few tips that JFK best exemplified. Excellent use of lines that emphasize the message he wished to convey. Effective repetition of the main message throughout his speech. Authenticity and genuineness in the content he conveyed. Yeah, be true, be original, and you won't just be a speaker, you'd be an icon. Adolf Hitler had all, but lacked genuineness, and we know the difference between the two leaders today. And perhaps you're too irritated to study anything about Adolf Hitler. You can check out Barack Obama, Martin Luther King, and even Nelson Mandela. Also, I'd advise that you study their lifestyles as well and thank me later. And once you're done studying these great speakers, the next step is quite a natural order that follows your study of great speakers. The next step is that you begin to visualize your success. Envision your success in public speaking. And yes, I have a warning for you. Don't yield to that urge to trivialize these steps. They're important mental tips that form a solid bedrock to the more physical and verbal speaking strategies. And now that you've known the mental techniques, let's move to the more practical exercises. Though this is quite mental, it is very practical too. And it's a shocking truth you previously thought was your unique problem. Well, I don't think you have any problem if nervousness is your problem, because nervousness is absolutely normal. Every single person on earth, including the brutal Donald Trump, feels some physiological reactions like pounding hearts and trembling hands. But you know what you should never do in all of these? Never, ever associate these feelings with failure or a poor performance. Some nerves are actually good. Yes, you heard me right. That adrenaline rush that makes you sweat even in the coldest winter could also make you more alert and ready to give your best performance. So the very first practical tips for public speaking is preparation. Preparation is such a necessity that nothing in the world lacks preparation. Even the food you eat. If a food needs to be prepared, then you should prepare your speech too. Preparation involves so much, and one of it is research. Research your audience. Know their demography and psychography. Plan your speeches to suit their needs and sate their taste as well. Also, your rehearsal is as important in your preparation as your speech itself. A good speech poorly rehearsed will bring bad results. So why not prepare? You know, Barack Obama's speeches were so famous and excellent that many wondered how he was able to prepare them. Well, as good as Barack Obama was in his public speaking craft, he had a speechwriter. A team of speechwriters preparing his speeches for him. And it's not just about the speeches, but also about the hours he devoted into rehearsing his speech to ensure there's no flop. So those 5-minute speeches you admired so much from Obama weren't off the cuff. They were meticulously prepared. And once a speech is prepared, more than half of the work is done. Preparation not only kills your anxiety, it also gives you that kind of mind-blowing speeches that'll keep your audience spellbound, like Barack Obama did. And you know what? You and I can do it too. Like Obama would say, yes, we can. And if you've been faithful with your payment of the huge attention fee, you'd notice the tips you find here prove that speaking is actually easy. And they aren't just the random tips you stumble upon on a low-budget website. What you have here are strategic and orderly steps to beginning your public speaking journey. Moving on, one notable lesson from Hitler was that he spoke clearly. I don't think anyone would pay attention to your beautiful message if your diction or sentence construction is faulty, or your words aren't articulated correctly. Speaking clearly touches on all aspects of your speech. Your diction, articulation, grammar, and your pronunciation. Every one of these must be in sync to give you a memorable speech. Let's get a reference for this. What do you most remember Martin Luther King for? He was a pastor, lawyer, a Black American, and importantly, a public speaker. You really don't recognize him if you don't recognize the speaker in him. With the power of his words and the fortitude of the community he led, Black Americans were able to conquer racial segregation in America. And in his most famous I Have a Dream speech, he spoke so clearly that even many decades after his speech, his diction, articulation, and sentence constructions would be so clear that Generation Alpha kids won't find his famous dream confusing. But hold on right there. There's a little web so many people unknowingly get trapped in as they give their speeches. It's the web of caution. Many become too engrossed in delivering a perfect speech that they mount the stage with everything they need but themselves. Yes, they speak without themselves, and that was never intended to confuse you. What I'm simply saying is that many become robots and talking heads when giving speeches. Really, no audience wants to see a remote-controlled, clothed fellow come steal away their time. They want a human. And if you are one, prove it. Even while you comfort and coordinate yourself, your personality must find expression in your speech. You're factual? Let's hear some mind-blowing facts. You're funny? Then hit the audience with some jokes. If you have a visual, then show it to us. You have some props? Use them. You're a storyteller? Perfect. Tell a story. In fact, these are some of the most reliable speaking techniques. Let them feel at ease listening to you. Again, be yourself. Tell a story. And while you tell it well. Show some catchy visuals. Input some jokes and give your audience some laughter. In fact, all of these are concrete points on their own. Research has shown that emotions and examples increase the retention rate of the audience by 65 to 75%. Also, by creating clear and compelling visuals, the brain grabs the information better, as the brain can attach meaning to a picture in just 0.25 seconds. Yes, that's even before you can make a count. So, what do? You show them something. But this is even more shocking. When facts are presented in the form of a story, people are 22 times more likely to remember. Yes, you heard that. 22 times. Well, all of these are effective tools that make you snatch your audience from the firm grips of their distractions. But you won't do that if you still make this mistake. Remember, it's called public speaking, not public reading. So when you go up there, don't start reading. Reading fractures the interpersonal connection, as your eye contact not only brings the focus to you, it also brings their focus to your message. So while you speak, ensure your journey to and fro their eyes with yours. And most importantly, grab attention at the beginning and close with a dynamic end. It has been said that you have just 3 seconds to grab your audience's attention. So do something worthwhile. Make it count. And when you're closing, leave them with something. Link it with your first statement and exhibit your creativity. And for more tips, Remember, communication is mainly nonverbal, so use your hands and your voice well. Raise your voice when necessary and drop it at other times. Use your hand, but ensure they don't distract. Appear elegantly, but avoid showiness. How would you feel when your dress grabs more attention than your speech? That doesn't sound too good. And the very final point is that you involve your audience. Ask them rhetorical questions. Do a brief poll. Say something about them. It's been proven that if a public speaker does not involve the audience, their engagement drops by 14%. That's huge, if you ask me. And if the price you have to pay to avoid that drop is to involve them, then why not? And when you do all of these, you'll realize that speaking is actually easy. I'm sure you enjoyed this video, so kindly do well to hit the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel to get more easy content like this. Until next time, peace out.